Hello students. So in this video lecture we will see about constructors in Python. So in my previous video lecture we have seen how to use classes and objects in Python, and we have also seen some examples in the second video lecture. So here we'll see about constructors in Python. So how to use constructor in Python. So first of all, what is a constructor? Okay. So we have seen a lot of properties of hoops in Python: classes, objects, polymorphism, encapsulation, inheritance, data abstraction. So this constructor is also one of the term what we use in other languages like C++, Java and all. They are also object-oriented languages. So, but when you just take Python, instead of constructor, we use this name, we commonly use the name init function. Okay, just because constructor means it is a special method. Okay, so which uses, so that is used to initialize an object of the class. So for object initialization, so in the previous classes we have seen how to create object for the class. So if you just have a class called my class, so we'll assign that to obj or any some variables that act as an object. Using that object, we call the variables as well as functions inside the class. That's what we will do. Okay. So constructor means it perform a task like it initialize the object. Okay. So it initialize the values of the object's attributes, functions, arguments, allocating resources, all these things it does. So it is the most common way. Init method is the most common way used to define a constructor. Okay. In C++ or Java, we use the same name as the class name for constructor, because but here we use the init method to init method as the name. Okay, for init means initialization. So it is given like it is a special method. So that has a double underscore at the beginning, at one end, and at the end also it has a double underscore. Okay. So this init method is called as an initializer because it is used to initialize the variables present inside the class. Variables means attributes present inside the class. Okay. So this method runs as soon as an object of the class is instantiated. See, it's a very important property. That's a unique property. So far we have seen in the previous class example, right? Previous classes and objects. Whenever an object is created, so that object is used to call the function. So we have seen we have used two functions inside the class, in class symbol class: get data, display data. How do we call when we create an object like s dot get data, s dot display data? We have to call the function using the object. Only then we can use it. But init method is something different, something peculiar. Whenever an object is created, the compiler or interpreter automatically calls the init method. Okay. So this method runs as soon as an object of a class is created. Okay, so it is a special method. So that is automatically called whenever an object is created. So if we create more object, then that many times the constructor will be called. The function will be called. So here we can see an example. We are creating a class named employee. Okay, and inside we have to give an indent. That's very important because inside we are defining a function. So we are defining what function? We are writing init function. How to write an init function? Underscore underscore init, then underscore underscore self. Self is an object name always, followed by what are the things you have to add: name, age, id, salary, all this database, employee database we are adding. So this program is an example to create employee database using constructor or init function. Okay, so then we are just initializing this or inputs we are getting. Okay, so yeah, sorry. So once again, so these are the inputs what we are giving: name, age, id, salary, all these things. Okay, so that input is assigned to self dot name, age is assigned to self dot age, salary is assigned to self dot salary. This is actually a variable created for this constructor or this initializer function. Okay, so everything we have assigned. So next we are creating object for this class, employee. So employee class, uh, so we are creating a object for this class. So for that class, we are just creating an object employee1 that is assigned to employee1. See this here again, we are just creating one more class employee2. So two employees database we have to store. How we are giving the data? See here, Harshit first name, okay, then age, then ID, then followed by salary. So similarly, second employee also Arjun, then followed by name, age, ID, and salary. Everything we are giving. Okay. So whenever an object is created, so I'm not calling this init function. I have not used anywhere. I have not called the init function using this object. So whenever I use this emp1 dot init, I am not using. Whenever an object is created, the interpreter automatically calls this function. Okay, so when this is created, so it is calling the function and it is assigning the name as Harshit, age is 22, ID, then salary. Okay, similarly, when emp2 is created, again this function will be called. Okay, and it assigns name as Arjun, age is 23, salary, then ID. Okay, so accordingly it assigns. So we don't want to call the init function, but automatically it is called two times because we have created two objects in this emp1 and emp2. Now we want to print the values. So how to print the values? Print of emp1 dot dictionary, because this is a dictionary. So this will be, we know that a parenthesis separated by comma means it's a dictionary. So we are just emp1 dot underscore 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 dict underscore. It will print the values. Okay. So we can see like this class here also in this example, one person class is created, then one function, init function we are using, it acts like a constructor. It's a special function, so we don't want to call this function using object. Whenever an object is created, this init function will be called automatically. So we can see, I'm just creating one object p1, so this init function will be called automatically. And the person John name is assigned, 36 age will be assigned. And when I create the object p2, again this init function will be called, and the name 4b and 21 age 21 will be assigned. You can see the UML diagram also for this. Similarly, you have some more examples. So you can create one object and you can assign the values to another object, and you can copy it also. Okay, so that case also you can create. See, I'm created p1 as object and px I have copied. So both have the access to the same person, right? So you can also have string method like this underscore underscore string method also you can use. So here you see, inside the class I'm defining one function using init. Init means you don't want to create or you don't want to call this init function using object. It will be called automatically once the function object will be created. Here what is the object? F. So that of f dot somewhere. So that means you'll get 42. That means you can also access using object, but whenever it will be called directly. Okay, it will, this function will be called directly, right? So you have some more examples here. You can go through the examples. Now I'll show one example in the in Google Colab interpreter. So I'll share it. Okay, so we will use the, we have seen in the previous lecture, we have seen about the student class, right? The same student class, how can we write using init function? So using constructor, how should we write this? So that we'll see here. Okay. So using constructor, so the same student name. So here in the previous case, I have not used the, I have just defined two functions. Okay. So now I'm just modifying the get data function using init underscore underscore init, then self comma name comma register number. So the name should be assigned to self dot name. Register number should be assigned to self dot register number. That is the inputs what we get are assigned to the values or objects present inside this list. Okay, so initialization is done. Then the second function is display function. like the previous program, we are writing the display function. Okay, right. Now you are just getting the values from the user, inputting the name and register number. Now you are creating one object to O. Okay, now you are not calling the init function. See, in the previous case, here we used to call the get data function, s dot get data. Okay, because there is no init function, so if you have to call only through object. But init function when we use, you don't want to call whenever an object is created. When O is created, it will be called automatically. So you are creating an object with name and register number. So this function, this two argument constructor, the two arguments are there. You have created an object with the two argument. So this will be called automatically. If you create with one argument or zero argument, then this will not be called. Okay. So when you create two argument object, then it will be called. So init function will be called and the name will be assigned and register number will be assigned. And then but you are using the object to call the display function because the display is a simple function and it is not an init function. So when you execute the code, it will ask you the name. So you're just entering name. Okay, then it is asking the register number. So you're entering some register numbers and it will be displayed. Okay, so the value will be displayed. So it is very simple. A constructor, when we use a constructor in a program only, then the classes and object is fulfilled. So whenever you write program, use init function to write it. Okay, so initialization can be done automatically. I hope you understood this concept. Thank you for watching this video.